Dobrodošli v podkastu Gospodarske zbornice Slovenije, kjer se bomo danes dotaknili teme, ki je zelo pomembna za majhno in izrazito izvozno gospodarstvo, kot je slovensko, ki po drugi strani tudi nima dobro razvitega kapitalskega trga. No, v takšnem okolju so banke pomemben ponudnik storitev in tudi ključni del gospodarskega ekosistema. Pogosto so na nek način glavni vir financiranja rasti, inovacij in internacionalizacije. Kako stabilen in razvit je danes slovenski bančni sistem, kako konkurenčen je v primerjavi s tujino, kje so največja tveganja in izzivi današnjih podjetij, pa tudi o tem, kako vidi Slovenijo in poslovno okolje menedžer, ki je vrsto let deloval v tujini. O vseh teh vprašanjih se bomo danes pogovarjali z našim gostom, ki ima bogate mednarodne izkušnje. Služboval je namreč v Avstriji, potem v Avstraliji, na Madžarskem in širši regiji. Danes pa deluje tukaj v Sloveniji in zanimivo bo slišati, kako jo vidi z določene distance. Z nami je András Hámori, predsednik uprave OTP Banke Slovenije. Mr. Hámori, welcome to the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and thank you very much for taking your time to be with us.
Thank you for the invitation. Happy to be here.
Perfect. You moved to Slovenia in May last year, if I'm
correct.
Yeah. So enough time to get a taste of Slovenia. If we start at the beginning, what were your first impressions of Slovenia?
Yeah. I have been visiting Slovenia before, although not for work, not necessarily just for work, but also as a tourist. So I had already a bit of impression about its natural beauty, about its cultural diversity, and its strategic location, I must say. So you have everything, I must say. So from the seaside to the mountains, beautiful forest and great food. But what really captivated me ever since is what I was not so much aware about Slovenia is the sport enthusiasm of the nation. Personally,
now at the league
yesterday the first gold medal. So I don't know when the podcast will go live. So hopefully by that time more medals, not just gold, but other medals will come. Exactly. So I will keep fingers crossed. But sports is very close to my heart, and I feel like it's a very natural for me to blend in and be part of the community here.
Perfect. It seems that it's kind of a perfect place to live and work in. So you took over OTP Bank Slovenia after the merger of two major banks, SKB Banka and Nova NKBM. Today OTP Bank is stable, well capitalized, and also delivering strong results. How do you see OTP Bank in Slovenia today? If you had to describe the bank in, let's say, a few words, what would you say?
Okay. OTP Banka emerged as a merger of two banks, as a combination of two banks, NKBM and SKB. This has happened before I joined, but I was quite fresh into this process as it ended. A merger involves legal, operational matters, and also a cultural element, as two organizations have to find its way. It's kind of like in a marriage. You have to make sure that you fit to your partner. So we have went through all of that, and I can say that a bank emerged which is strong, as you said, both from a capital liquidity point of view and a stable pillar of the economy. So what's ahead of us is basically where do we move from here? And this is what we have been, as a management team, being busy last year of defining our 5-year strategy. And we will talk mainly about other topics as well. So I don't want that it's all about OTP's 5-year strategy, but because I could talk an hour just on this. But in a nutshell, we would like to deliver for our customers a frictionless banking experience, being more customer-oriented and more digital than today. So for that, we need to transform ourselves internally as well. In order, how do we deliver more digitally services, products to customer? At the same time, how do we also internally process this better from our operational point of view. So that's a very engaging strategy for our staff, and hopefully over the years our customers will continuously experience improvements.
Mm-hmm. Let's stay a bit with this new strategy until 2030. What are the key priorities, especially when it comes supporting businesses and the economy in this new strategy of bank?
Yes. So in our strategy, what we have to be considering is the Slovenian banking environment. And Slovenia is a strong banking market. It's stable. It has a good asset quality, I would say. But on the other hand, it's relatively low growth. Unlike other emerging markets, Slovenia is closer to Western Europe. So in our strategy, where we put the emphasis is how do we deliver for our existing customers and potentially new customers better services, and how do we help them to get ahead in life with a broader set of financial products? How do we deliver it in a more convenient way to them? And this is broken down by various segments, various product groups, and various channels as well. And obviously we want to be a highly integral part of the Slovene economy going forward as well. So we see it's a huge responsibility for us to be enabling future business growth and enabling dreams and expansion possibilities and wishes of our corporate clients. So for our retail customers, when they are thinking about buying their first house or first car, for example.
At one point, there were also some concerns that OTP will move its headquarters from Maribor to Ljubljana. You have decided to stay actually in both cities, also in Maribor. And if I'm not wrong, I read somewhere that you talked also about two headquarter model as advantage.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, so we are historically, as mentioned, these two headquarter model because of the heritage of the two banks. We do see Maribor as a very strong pool of talents. And we decided that we go to this dual headquarter to enable proximity to various talent pools. And also we have roughly 800 of our employees based in Maribor today. And we give them the flexibility also to work from there. So it enables for them better work-life balance. It enables for us a broader talent pool. And Maribor has good university, what we see. So it gives us an opportunity to find the necessary skill sets, what are required for us to move the bank forward there. So both cities, both Maribor and Ljubljana are integral. Our seat is Ljubljana based. We are investing here in the Emonika Center, a new headquarter, which will be a very visible element, hopefully, of the scene. Yeah, it's already, I think, at the 7th floor. Yeah. It's on Dunajska. Everybody can see. So we move there in 2 years' time. That will be a manifestation of the new bank, of the OTP bank, I think, existence in Ljubljana, and it will be hopefully a state-of-the-art signature office building of the city.
Looking forward to.
Maybe next time we can have a podcast there in our own studio.
Indeed, with pleasure. You have mentioned several times also that Slovenia is somehow lagging behind when it comes to the digitalization of banking services. With your international background, Hungary, Austria, as I mentioned, and Australia, how would you rate the level of banking services in Slovenia today? Where do our banks, Slovenian banks, do a good job, and where are still biggest gaps?
It's a good question because one would assume that there are differences between the markets, but there's no difference, I can tell. So coming from the southern hemisphere, 14,000 kilometers away from Slovenia, Australia have the same products, the same channels. They are delivered very similarly. So there's nothing new under the sun. Slovene banks, the banking system is able to support, I believe, every retail and corporate customers on the local market. So there's no big differences, I believe. There's differences maybe on the way how these services are used. And digitization is one of those. So when I look at in Slovenia, that I think the official statistic is from the EU that 64% of the society is using online or mobile banking. In Scandinavia, this is 95 or higher. But not just Scandinavia, not just the Nordics part, but also Netherlands is in the 90s. And I think this is the difference. When you look at from, let's say, Norway, from 100 people, 5 is not using these modern channels. In Slovenia, 36. So that's a big difference. And I believe this is where in the future some conversion going to happen, and what we can also facilitate from the bank's point of view.
Yeah, you have said, yes, that bank branches of the future will become more kind of advisory hubs. And coming to these closures of banks, which banks offices, which we were used to in, let's say, in the past, it's very sensitive in Slovenia, especially in rural areas. Particularly because of elderly population. How quickly do you think this shift will actually happen here in Slovenia?
It will happen. That's not a question. When I look at the 64% ratio 3 years ago was in the low 50s, so it's already happening. It's just a question of the speed. So what we see that customer behavior is changing. Actually, this previous statistic was showing that as you move from the north to the south, the online banking, digital banking usage is less prominent. These countries are in a bit of a delay, but they are catching up. So what happens is we see that our customers are more and more opting for remote banking. And because of that, we also see that these branches are less and less busy. There's less transactions there. There's less customers coming in for basic banking services. And if you think about it, this is pretty natural. 30 years ago, when you wanted to buy a flight ticket, do you remember what you had to do before the era of internet?
Yeah.
You had to go to a tourist office or a travel agency where you had to sit like we are sitting, and there was usually a lady behind a big monitor. At that time there were not flat screens, big monitors, and in a keyboard was ferociously typing when you wanted to visit your cousin in faraway Canada, or and was trying to identify your connections, from Ljubljana, how you're gonna fly out. And then in a paper, we're giving you some prices, and then it was reserved. You had to go back to pay, and then you got issued a paper ticket.
Yeah.
Today, from the comfort of your home, on your couch,
we cannot imagine that this was.
You cannot even imagine how it was.
Indeed, yeah.
But from the comfort of your home, you manage this, and you have a full overview, and you have full transparency. Before that, you were just sitting there, and your faith was in the hand of the agent on the other hand. You were just sitting and waiting until something comes out of that computer. Yeah. Now you're in full control, and everything is at your fingertips. So the same is happening in banking. Yeah. The same desire of customers to be in control, and that triggers basically that we have to optimize also the way how do we deliver these physical touch points. What are they used for? And in the future, they will be more used for value-added advisory for our customers to navigate in the jungle of financial products, because sometimes it's not self-evident. And we are able to help and advise customers what suits best for their need. Nevertheless, I have to say that at OTP we have the widest accessibility of banking services in Slovenia, because besides our physical branch network, we also have an exclusive agreement with the Post. Plus we have over 400 ATMs as well, where again some basic banking services are available. So wherever you go in the country, wherever there's a post office, basic banking of OTP is available. So we're never going to leave behind these rural areas, because we do understand there is a certain customer segment. Sometimes you said it's elderly, but I don't think it's necessarily just elderly, it's mindset. Even in my family, I have family members who are close to 80 years old, and they are using mobile banking services, and they are navigating that because they have this mindset. But nevertheless, we will carry everybody on this journey with us, and it's our desire to make it simpler, more self-explanatory, and intuitive for everyone.
Things really changed a lot in this decade, and also with it, geopolitical environment changed very, very much. And let's touch that as well, because it has a huge impact on the businesses, and I believe also on banking sector. So the rules that applied just a few years ago no longer seems to be valid. And from your perspective as a banker, what risks worry you most now?
Number one is the economic slowdown in Europe. This is very visible. Again, if you compare this to Asia or to the US, and especially for Slovenia, which is an export-oriented economy, the slowdown of Germany, it's very much visible. The second, I would say, is the most recent one, is the trade tensions with the US, which, again, the US was the strongest ally of the European continent for over the last 80 years. This has rapidly changed. This brings unknown measures and countermeasures, and we see also that some of the businesses are struggling how to navigate that. And the third risk, I would say, is our technological sovereignty. Europe has not just outsourced its defense, but outsourced its technology. We are relying on American technology today. So we need to make sure that we are more independent when it comes to cloud computing, artificial intelligence, or chip production. Because these supply chains can be weaponized, and we are vulnerable. So we do in the bank create certain stress scenarios, stress tests to understand what does it mean to our portfolio, to our customers, and how can we ensure that we remain a stable and solid financial institution.
Do you already feel from customers, businesses, let's say, impact of these geopolitical tensions which you mentioned? How do they influence the behavior of companies?
Yes.
Do you see change?
Obviously, yes. We live together with our customers. So this directly impacts them. If I have to put it in a nutshell, it delays investments. They don't look optimistically in the future, and because of that, investments, expansion plans, opening of new production facilities might be delayed. There are certain industries who are very directly impacted by punitive tariffs, and their whole business model might be put under question, like steel production, for example. Nevertheless, we try to work with every of our customers to be able to navigate this period, but overall it brings uncertainty, and if there is uncertainty, there is caution as well.
You've spent most of your career abroad, which gives you useful outside-in perspective. And it will be now interesting to hear, if you had just 1 minute, let's say, to pitch Slovenia to foreign investors, what would you highlight as the biggest strengths, and also where they should be cautious about, let's say, potential concerns?
I would first talk to them about the strategic location of the country, that it could be a very strong transit corridor to a large European market, directly in Central Eastern Europe and Southeastern Europe, to the help of its access to sea, to Luca Copper. I would highlight its opportunities in logistics and also its qualified workforce. It has a highly skilled workforce, what I see, and also everybody speaks English. I have been in the country. If somebody doesn't speak English, they speak German. So you can really easily navigate as a foreigner in the country. So that's all good, and also it's a safe country. So I have to say, in Europe, this does not come evidently anymore, but there's no issues of walking in the evening in Ljubljana or other bigger cities in the country, and it brings a certain safety and quality of life. And what you said, okay, how would I balance it out? What is in the other side? I would say that for every investor, they should know that there's a high taxation of income. So on foreign, highly skilled workforce who would join the country potentially should expect high tax burden. Recently, I think there's a lower predictability of labor cost. There has been certain measures introduced. I believe that there is a bit of over bureaucracy in the economy. Permits, again, for new investors, which might be interesting, and bureaucratic processes take longer than I would be used to. So there are challenges on both sides, I believe.
Indeed, all the medals, we say, they have both
the
sides.
coin has both sides.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, coins have two sides, yes. I just wanted actually, to touch upon our business environment, but you already mentioned, I mean, pluses and minuses as well. I mean, our challenges, rather put it like this. Last year, let's say, Slovenian economic growth was really weak, more than we predicted.
Yes.
And also international institutions. Companies often say this is partly due also to uncompetitive business environment. Do banks feel this slowdown as well in businesses?
Yeah, as said, we live and breathe with our customers, so we see that how the slowdown is impacting them. When I look at again investments into the economy, I see that these SME, the family-owned mid-sized companies who are the backbone of the Slovenian economy, I would say, they are not investing currently into new production facilities or expanding geographically. They are sometimes in a wait-and-see mode. Large investments happening with LEC, Luca Copper, which is very much welcome. But I don't think that's enough. We need it in a broader spectrum. There would be better predictability, and I think a lowering of the tax burden would definitely help. The other advice I believe I would say is
advices for the government, probably.
No,
regulator.
I talk to our customers.
Yeah,
so I'm amplifying, I believe, our customers' voice here.
Indeed.
Although I'm an economist by education, I did not practice macroeconomics very long. But what they see and what I hear is investment into infrastructure. So especially railroad and rails connecting the port to other logistics hub. There's a lot of opportunities there, and the other day I was visiting Luca Copper, and before I entered, there were trucks lining up to get to the port. It was I don't know, kilometer long of trucks lining up. And when I got there, I asked them, so what does it mean in terms of truck traffic? And I said, daily 2,000 trucks enter Luka Koper. And because of the missing railway system, this puts congestion on the roads, which otherwise would be okay. But with this overload of the roads, then there's congestions on the roads. Let's not to talk about accidents on the roads. And I believe this investment would be the top priority, maybe what the government should think about the next period of how do we make sure that we connect to the Slovenia even more and take advantage of its strategic location in the European economy.
So more investments and also lowering taxation.
Yes.
Reducing
bureaucratic
burdens. If we go also a bit to opportunities of Slovenian economy, for example, where do you see the biggest growth opportunities for Slovenia today? Are these startups, mid-sized, let's say export-oriented companies, family-owned, or larger international companies? We have some as well. I mean, Novartis, Sandoz, Hisense, and so on. Where do you see opportunities?
I see opportunities everywhere, but
as a banker, yes, of course.
If I slice up your question, startups are important because they bring the needed agility, innovation capability to the economy, which is so much needed for Slovenia, in my mind. So there should be programs supporting that. Mid-sized companies, I think, as I mentioned, I do see as backbone of the economy, especially family-owned in the countryside. I was surprised to see that in my travels and visiting clients that in settlements, small towns, which I didn't even hear about them, how big companies are, and they own their niche in Europe or some even globally. And they are a very important construct of the community in the region. So you would like to see them prosper. You would like to see them to grow. And the large companies are important because, and I look at the absolute numbers, they contribute most to the GDP. They are the largest employers, but also they bring advanced know-how to the country, and they are employing this highly skilled workforce as well. And also in turbulent times, they bring the exports to Slovenia. So all three, I think, play their important role of making sure that the economy will grow and prosper going forward.
We also said already that banking system is often described as kind of a bloodstream of the economy, especially in countries such as Slovenia, where capital markets aren't very developed. This is even more important. So the role of banks. Where do you see the biggest gap between what companies needs and what banks are currently offering? Is there enough bank financing to support growth and innovation, international expansion?
Clearly, I see that Slovenian banking, so not just OTP, but the banking system is well capitalized, and everybody has the means and the possibility to lend and support customers. So I don't see an issue of being non-liquid or having less appetite for the economic expansion. Actually, I think it's more coming from the customer's point of view, this cautiousness, this decision of not to go ahead because I cannot be highly optimistic about the future. I rather postpone. So in that regard, there's no gap. I don't think there's a significant gap for the various size of companies, let it be a startup in their early stages or later stages. They are the necessary either banking or government funded programs to get going. So I don't see that as a major issue in the economy.
But do Slovenian companies, in your view, make full use of financial instruments available to them, or do they tend to stick more, to simpler solutions?
To the more conservative solutions?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, of course, smaller, like micro companies or small companies, they use the more basic products. Current account, working capital, financing, leasing. Some who are export oriented, they use letter of credits, bank guarantees. And the more sophisticated products like structured finance, ESG loans, or global markets hedging comes into play with the larger companies, where are very sophisticated, where do have very sophisticated financial departments and a strong financial understanding. And they have a business which involves a lot of these complexities. So, but again, I think all of these products are used exactly the same way as it's used in other parts of the world. So I don't see a difference there. And we are also there to partner our customers and help them once we understand their business, once we understand their cash flows to develop and manage their finances better.
And from your experience, what are the, let's say, most common mistakes entrepreneurs are making when they come to a bank for financing? What they should be today more also cautious, or how they should be prepared today in comparison to the past, what they used to?
It's a good question. I think number one is maybe poor preparation. Some of the companies had not thought to what it would entail. I want to build a new production facility. How much I will earn? What will it mean to my liquidity, my debt service? So this is one. I think some of the companies are focusing maybe on selective fewer metrics, and they don't see that a quantum leap in their operation, what would it mean to their financing, what risks they would be facing. So they sometimes don't think what could go wrong and how would I manage that stress if that negative or adverse scenario happens. For example, a lot of adverse scenarios happening now in trade. And basically what we can do with them is partner. Because if somebody comes to us and say that I need significant investment loans in 10 days because this opportunity now, we will not be able to do, and none of the banks will be able to do. So treat your bank as a partner, keep them in the loop. We have roughly a 30% market share in the economy. We work across all the different segments, sectors, with various size of companies, from small to large. We understand how they operate. We understand their financials, the mechanics. And if companies talk to us early, we can be the second pair of eyes if whatever idea they have, and we can help to shape these ideas that the company will also do better later with those new plans. So I think that's what the best do, that they keep us as a strategic partner of growing their businesses, not just as a last-minute exercise.
And only as a source of money, huh? Yeah. But also really as a partner, as you said, with strong advice as well for their business.
And sharing openly their opportunities, concerns, risk, and talking through with us. That's what we are best at. We are ultimately transforming client deposits, sometimes retail clients' lifetime savings or wealth generated in businesses over many, many years, and we are transforming those to loans. That's the core of our business, which is this risk transfer from deposits to loans. So if I really have to simplify, what do we do as a bank? And this risk management know-how of thinking holistically about risk is we can help and to put it in the service of our customers as well.
Which is very valuable in today's world, which is very complex.
which is a
it's not easy to
very
manage.
complex world. I agree, and there are a lot of risk. There are the risk we know, and there are the risk we don't even know, and again, one has to be prepared for those as well.
Exactly. Our time is coming slowly to an end, so let's finish on a more personal note. Your career has taken you through several countries. The last was Australia, and now here in Slovenia. What has this international journey given you? I mean, both as a leader and as a person.
Yes, so first of all, as a person, I was lucky enough that I could do all of these assignments and international jobs with my family, so who supported all the way through with me. And it gave us a lot as a family with my children. I have 3 children, so they could experience different cultures, they could get different languages. And right now, I would say that they are definitely home, at least in 3 countries. As a business manager, it gave me a broader view of the world. I do understand a bit more how different nations think, what are their challenges, how do they try to solve. And what I also learned is not one size fits all. For a problem you can solve from different angles as well. So it definitely helped me to be a more rounded manager and I think executive who I am today.
And if you compare, let's say, work culture, and also work culture and also work-life balance in Australia and in Slovenia, what would you say? It's very interesting to hear. As a Slovenian, how do you assess that?
So I worked in Australia, in Sydney, in the financial district of Sydney, which might be a microculture, okay? But I think everybody believes that Australians are so laid back because the sun is shining, there's the ocean, people come with a surfboard under their armpits to work, which is definitely not true. Definitely not true. Australia is an Anglo-Saxon country. It's very more similar, its working ethics to British or the American. They work really hard. So work-life balance is a word what we use very often in Europe. You just asked me work-life balance, and that's why I was smiling. Because in Australia, it's very clear that Monday to Friday, you work. And on the weekend,
you try to balance.
And you live, while we in Europe, we try to achieve maybe work-life balance every day, whether it's a weekend or a weekday. So we try to find this balance throughout. And I would say that's the biggest difference what I could see in terms of work ethics or the way of working.
You often say you don't really see yourself as a banker, but as a leader in financial services. How does that show in your day-to-day leadership?
Yeah. I don't like the word banker because a bank sounds like an institution, a cold institution, and there are these cold bankers sitting, who you have to go and visit and then get an approval. But I think we actually have a purpose. And you mentioned that banking is the bloodstream of the economy. And yes, I think our purpose is to help people to get ahead in their life, or companies to get growing. So we are servicing them with financial products. So I think this equation, is actually an eye-to-eye level where we try to help customers, and it's we are for the customer, not the other way around. So and that's the mentality which I try to explain to my colleagues, that we have to think with the customer's mind. We have to have the customer focus in everything what we do. How does this impact the customer? So that's why I like that financial services executive, because it just clearly says that we provide actually a service for customers, and it frames our thinking much clearer, what we are for and what we do every day. And when we do a change, how does it have to impact customers?
With new generations, let's say, entering the workforce and also the business, the business world is changing and very fast. And what kind of leader does a CEO need to be today in comparison to the past? We have many, Z, etc. Generations of new people coming into businesses, and this impacts also the way how you lead companies, lead teams, especially younger generations.
It's again a very good question. I think we can talk about this hours, but what I see, maybe what changed, again, a power shift. I think in the past, leaders were very much top down. It was command and control. That does not fly with the young generation 2026. You have to listen and you have to empower. You have to create an environment where there's a culture of innovation, where people feel they have a say, they can influence things. This is how you engage a workforce. Today in Slovenia and in many developing markets, there's no unemployment any longer. So if unemployment is below 4%, then the employees choose actually where they would like to work. And this power shift means that I believe leaders have to change as well, and they have to be also more authentic, and they should be open, and they should be able to clearly articulate the vision for their businesses, and being able to translate to every individual level how someone can contribute and add value. So that's, I think, the big shift from a couple of decades ago and with the new generation.
One interesting initiative you introduced in OTP Bank, and that was and is a book club. Can you briefly explain the concept and why did you do that? Because it's an interesting approach. I mean, having a book club in a bank.
Yes.
Maybe a new approach?
Yes, it's a new approach. Maybe it's linked to your previous question. I'm thinking, it started from a very basic idea that as I came and we were drafting our strategy, it got very clear that we would like to transform the bank and embark on a new journey. And for that, I have found a book which talked about digital transformation of businesses, not necessarily financial services or banking, overall businesses. And I thought that it would make sense that some of the individuals in the bank would read it. And then when I started to talk with my colleagues, they all thought it's a great idea. So from that, it became the idea of a book club. And the book club was initially was just discussing that book and what would it mean to our business, what could we learn from that. We were discussing with a set of individuals how this could be translated for our future strategy. But then organically, actually the desire was that it becomes a bit more. It becomes a place where everybody can freely exchange views, and it became a community. So today there is 200 of our employees part of the book club. Some is more active, some less active, but we all come once every 3 months. We discuss still the book, that's still an element, but ever since we discuss also many other things. What's happening in the bank? What are the pain points? What should we be focusing on? So it's a great way to interact at every level of the organization. So it's not just at board level or senior manager, director level. No, everybody is coming. So we have even employees traveling from far away places, from Nova Gorica coming to Ljubljana, or sometimes you have this in Maribor, that they are part of this discussion and trying to shape and give their small input in the way the company is run. So it's a superb initiative. It's very engaging. I'm really looking forward to our next one already.
Perfect. And which book is now on the table?
Yeah,
which you are reading?
It's a CEO Excellence. I'm in the middle of this. Actually, the good news is that at each time we ask the book club members to propose books,
okay.
And then we select together what will be our next book. And
this is your selection now?
No. That's why I wanted to say that I thought that, okay, they suggested the CEO Excellence, so it might have a deeper meaning of it, but no. Actually, while I'm reading the book, it's for every leader. Actually, it's a great tool book and tool set what to do. And again, in a large organization, we are 2,100 employees. We have a lot of individuals who lead others, and it comes with responsibility. If you lead others, you have to be able to draft a vision for your team. You have to show direction. You have to show empathy also towards others. And then the team will be cohesive and working well together. So this is also what this book talks about, whether it's for a larger organization, for a smaller team. Some of the tips and tricks are the same.
Perfect. You said you have a family and 3 children and a wife, of course. Your days, I believe, are much longer than 8 hours. When you need to switch off, where do you find your peace, energy, your work-life balance?
My work-life balance,
yes.
Okay. As we talked about it, it very much appealed to me that Slovenia is such a sport enthusiastic country. Sport is my safe haven, or sport is the way how I switch off. I played volleyball originally, then I played amateur football, then played a bit of golf. Now I'm more into tennis, which I enjoy a lot, and I also like winter sports like skiing. I'm planning to take up cross-country skiing here because I was told how great places are in the mountains here in Slovenia. And also went occasionally cycling. Cycling was not a sport which captured me before, but since being here, I had the pleasure to cycle from Portorož until Maribor with my team through Ljubljana, which was with certain stops, a very nice experience, because not just from a sport perspective, but also get to know of the country and the countryside and the beautiful picturesque mountains.
To wrap up things, if you could give Slovenian entrepreneurs just one financial or leadership, let's say, also tip from your experience, for the next 5 years, what would it be?
I would say that be bold and ambitious in your planning. Partner up with your bank that you're thinking together, because finances is your bloodstream. You need to make sure your finances are well planned, and you will not get into troubles because of that. And in the future, try to think about managing your risk going forward. And as said, if you are thinking about all possibilities, nothing will come potentially as a negative surprise. I truly believe in Slovenian skills. I think the country has unique opportunities. So hopefully our entrepreneurs will be able to capture that and develop the economy, and with that develop the Slovenian society.
Let's conclude with this wish. Very nice. Mr. Hámori, thank you very much for your open and insightful conversation. and also your view on Slovenian banking sector, as well as your view on Slovenian economy. I wish you all the best and all the success with OTP Bank, and also pleasant stay here in Slovenia.
Thank you once again for the invitation. It was my pleasure to be here.
Hvala lepa, thank you very much. Hvala lepa pa tudi vam, spoštovane poslušalke in poslušalci podcasta Gospodarske zbornice Slovenije, in vse dobro do prihodnjič.